Chapter 17. Heart pounding, I raced back through the cemetery. Even though I didn't look at the angel, I sensed its blank eyes following me, its hand pointing the way to the lake and the cliff top. Once I reached the path, I slowed down. The rain had changed to a heavy mist, and I could see only about 3 feet ahead. I didn't want to miss my way and fall off the rocks. "Emma!" I called. "Emma!" There was no answer. Drops of water fell from the pines, gradually soaking my clothes. Now and then I heard a gull cry, its voice sad and lonely. I was alone in the gray nothingness. No colors, no shapes. At last I heard Emma's high, piping voice. "Let's go back, I'm cold." "Scaredy cat. Scaredy cat," Sissy taunted. "Edith's not afraid of the canoe. Why are you?" I slid down a narrow path to the lake, scattering pebbles. The two of them looked up. Emma was surprised to see me, but Sissy grinned as if she had been expecting me. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't have returned her smile. Not that I knew what she was. Now that I knew what she was, I didn't even want to look at her. She seemed as real and solid as ever, but I was scared she'd shed her skin the way I shed my clothes and stand before us in her true form. Bones. Nothing but bones. Topped with a grinning skull and a tuft of hair, dressed in the rags of her bathing suit. "Did you find the sweatshirt?" Sissy asked, mocking me with a sly grin. "I didn't want it anymore." She stood knee-deep in the lake. Her faded bathing suit almost matched the fog, giving her an appropriately ghostly look. Beside her, an old canoe rode low in the water. Edith lay on the middle seat, her dirty face turned up to the foggy sky. "Where'd you get the canoe?" I asked. Sissy shrugged, and the bones beneath her skin shifted. "It's just an old wreck of a thing. No one wants it. Not anymore." Turning to Emma, she said, "Come on, get in." I grabbed my cousin's shoulder. "She's not going anywhere with you." Sissy laughed. "Want a bet?" Turning back to Emma, she held out the doll. "If you come with me, you can hold Edith." Emma pulled free of my hands. Before I could stop her, she clambered into the canoe and sat on the middle seat, cradling Edith. "See, I'm not a scaredy cat baby like Allie." Sissy jumped in and picked up the paddle. "There's room for you too, Allie." I splashed into the cold water and grabbed the side of the canoe. "Get out, Emma, and come home. You're sick. You've got a fever. Your mother doesn't know where you are. She's worried to death." "Worried to death?" Sissy laughed. "What does Dulcie, or you, know about death?" Her eyes dared me to ask what she knew about death. For Emma's sake, I kept my mouth shut. It would be better if my cousin never learned what her so-called friend really was. "Please," I grabbed her arm and tugged. The canoe rocked back and forth, and Emma clung to the sides. "Stop, Allie," she cried. "You'll turn it over." Sissy dipped the paddle in the water. "Come or don't come," she said to me, "but I'm taking Emma for a ride." Full of dread, I climbed into the canoe and took a seat in the front, with Emma sitting between us. Sissy paddled away from the shore. In a moment, the mist surrounded us. Rocks and trees vanished as if they no longer existed. I could barely see Sissy and Emma, and I heard nothing but the gurgle and splash of the paddle moving through the water. It was like the dream I'd had of the 3 girls, only now it was real, and I was one of them. Emma looked around uneasily. "Where are we going?" she said. "I can't see anything." Sissy kept paddling. "Take me home," Emma begged. "I don't like the canoe anymore. I don't like the fog. I want Mommy." "Sorry, Em, but I don't know which way home is. Do you?" Sissy didn't pretend to be sorry or even worried. If anything, she seemed pleased with herself. Emma began to cry. "Don't take me where the bones are. I don't want to see them." "Bones, bones, bones," Sissy chanted. "Teresa wants you and Allie to visit her. Stay with her a while. Keep her company." "No!" Emma cried. I reached toward my cousin, but my arm wasn't quite long enough to touch her. I didn't dare move closer for fear of upsetting the canoe. "It's okay, Emma," I said. "She's just teasing you. We're almost home already." I hoped I was right, but I couldn't see the shore, a tree, the dock, or anything else. Emma hugged the doll. "Me and Edith are scared." Sissy laughed. "Give me Edith. She won't be scared if I hold her." Emma clutched the horrid thing to her chest. If I give her to you, will you take us home? Maybe. Emma turned to me. Should I? You'd better, Sissy answered before I had a chance to say a word. Emma thrust the doll at Sissy. Now take me home, she begged. I'll do anything you say, just take me home. Sissy sat still, the paddle in her hands, the doll beside her. How bad do you want Edith? Stop teasing her, I said. Just take us home. Sissy ignored me. What if I throw Edith in the lake? Do you want her enough to jump in and get her? She dangled the doll over the water. Should I drop her? No, Emma cried. No, Sissy, don't. Give her to me. I lunged past Emma at Sissy just as the doll flew out of her hands and splashed into the lake. Look what you made me do, Sissy yelled. I didn't make you do anything. You threw that doll. I saw you. While the two of us shouted at each other, Emma leaned out of the canoe, desperately reaching for the doll. Before I could stop her, she toppled into the lake. I saw her hair spread like seaweed on the surface and then vanish. At the same moment, the canoe rocked wildly back and forth and tipped over. As I plunged down into the cold water, I searched frantically for Emma. Through the murk, I glimpsed a swirl of hair, a pale face, an outstretched hand. Kicking hard, I swam toward her and grabbed her arm. The two of us sank together, weighed down by our wet clothes. Emma struggled like a fish trying to escape a net, but I held her tight. I won't let you drown, I promised. I'll save you. I'll save both of us. Using every bit of strength, I swam up toward the dim light of the gray sky. We came to the surface, gasping for air. Emma clung to me, coughing and choking, too weak to struggle. I swam to the overturned canoe and tried to get a good grip on it. Hold on, I told Emma. I can't, she wept. I can't, it's too slippery. You have to. Just on the edge of the fog, Sissy circled us, drifting in and out of sight like a shark coming in for the kill. Slowly, she swam nearer, shoving the doll ahead of her. I put my arms on either side of Emma to keep myself between her and Sissy. Stay away from us, I yelled. Sissy pushed the doll closer. It's nice in the water, Em. If you come swimming with me, I'll give you Edith. All yours forever. No take-backs. Emma looked at me and I shook my head. You can't swim. Don't worry, I'll hold you up. Sissy swam close enough to grab Emma's hand. The doll floated nearby, her stained face barely visible in the dark water. If you want to be my friend, she said, you have to do what I say, not what Allie says, not what Dulcie says. Go away! Emma tucked her hand free of Sissy's grip. I'm scared of you. Shivering with cold and fear, I watched Sissy, framed by long, wet hair. Her face was sharp and bony, her skin white, her eyes shadowy. The hands holding the doll were bony. If only she'd vanish into the water and sink to the bottom where she belonged. If only Emma and I were safe in the cottage, drawing or reading by the fire, warming ourselves with hot chocolate. If only, if only, if only. Why are you here? I whispered. What do you want from us? Sissy swam even closer. Once more I moved between her and Emma. I could hear my cousin's intake of breath. Her skin was cold. I want you to make Dulcie and Claire tell the truth, Sissy said. They should be punished for what they did. It's not fair. They're grown up and I'm... She broke off and glared at me. It's all their fault. Make them tell or they'll be sorry. I stared at her perplexed. What can they tell? They weren't in the canoe with you. How can you be so dumb? Sissy gave me a look of pure hatred. Dulcie and Claire lied. They're still lying. Emma looked from me to Sissy and back again. What did Mommy lie about? I was there, Sissy went on, and so were they. I remember, and so do they. Where were they? Emma cried, her voice shrill with confusion and fear. Tell me, Sissy, tell me. Sissy looked at me, not Emma. Tell Dulcie what happened today. Each word dropped from her mouth as hard as stone. Don't leave anything out. Not the doll, not the canoe, not me. Then ask her what happened to Teresa. My mother and aunt would never hurt anyone. No? Sissy mocked me with her grin. Oh, before I forget. Make sure Dulcie knows the canoe belonged to your grandfather. He called it the Spirit of the Lake. Good name, don't you think? Turning her back, Sissy swam away into the fog, taking the doll with her. Come back, Emma cried after her. You'll drown. You can't drown twice, Sissy called, her voice muffled by the, water. Sissy! Emma called again. Sissy! No one answered. No one came swimming out of the fog. Emma clenched my arm. Is Sissy really Sissy? Or is she someone else? I hesitated, unsure how she figured out. Finally, I said, deep down inside, I think you know who Sissy is. Emma nodded slowly. You can't drown twice, she said, echoing Sissy's words. I drew her close to me, holding her tight. The water